speaking about how we tend to interact with people with similar backgrounds and similar struggles. And as I was speaking, I gave Judge Mathis, I was called to Chicago. He let us be a part of his show. I gave him a Vanguard Award for the things that he had been doing in the public. He answered the water crisis in Flint. We took over 10,000 cases under his leadership to Flint to help the people that's in Flint. That's a humanitarian effort. Then we got Mr. Cornel West here. He had to make a stop here at Temple 25, Moorish Temple of America. He had to come in and reflect on some of the history that he actually taught about. When we're talking about Noble Drew Ali back here, and this is in the 1920s. Matter of fact, this picture right here, I think this one here was from 36. This lithograph over here, this bigger poster, that was from our very first convention in 1928. This one right here, our very first convention of the Moorish Temple of America. Here, right here.
And when did he die? 29?
Yeah, he died July the 20th of 1929. And back then, you had influenza, you had tuberculosis, and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali succumbed to like.
Oh, was that during the Spanish flu time? No, that was 1919. Okay, but still, it was floating around.
But see, 1919, you had the Spanish flu, but it just didn't stop then, because 1919, then you had a different variant of it when it came to 1920, and then 1921 when it went into San Francisco, they wanted to give it a different name. But we know when we talk about the Spanish flu, everybody thought it came from Spain. No, it didn't come from Spain.
Asia.
It was because of the people that were in Spain spoke about the Spanish.
They were the first ones who noticed it or whatever, yeah.
No, what it was is that they didn't have restrictions the way that, because that was during the wartime too. When we talk about the 1920s, we talk about the war times that was going on in other countries that were engaged in the war, and a lot of their soldiers were succumbing to this flu. It was almost like a COVID-19 type of a flu that they had, and it killed millions. It killed maybe 50 million people, maybe worldwide, maybe more.
Killed more than World War I.
Yeah, and it was constantly building. So here it is, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He first started assembling the Moorish Temple of America in 1913. He came to the bigger cities in Chicago around 1925, and he started organizing the people then, because you got to remember, all these people that we lost during that time, doing what we call the Spanish flu and influenza and tuberculosis, all these things here, that had desecrated some of the population, and also people being able to be employed. Prophet Noble Drew Ali came at a time to when people were in such a mental disarray. It was time for him to galvanize our people, because people think this is racist, but these are the facts. So you either hate it or you love it. Nobody came telling people they were not Negroes, blacks, or colored people during that time, because those names were actually given to the ex-slaves or slaves by slaveholders. So here it is. They had a number of different names. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, nope. He says, listen, you're Moorish Americans. You have a proud nationality and a proud heritage. You have a humanitarian name, Moorish Americans. So he brought us into this vehicle that he incorporated in 1927, was the first incorporation as the Moorish Temple of Science. He started bringing the people in, letting them know what their nationality was. He acted in civil engagement along with Marcus Garvey, because we know Marcus Garvey had civil engagement during the 1920s and early 1925, so forth and so on, trying to build a better economy for our people. But Marcus Garvey took the road of saying, let me give y'all something that you're familiar with. I'm going to say you some new and improved Negroes, as opposed to the Negroes that was homegrown here in America. Because Negroes, they don't call you Negroes around the world. What are you talking about? That's American, that's homegrown. Then they got tired of you calling you Negroes, and they want to call you black. Then you got NAACP involved.
Colored.
See, so now you got a whole myriad or a whole, what you want to say, they had this stew. They had a stew, and it wasn't called goulash, a goulash. So he put the people down. It's goulash we got here. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali came and he thinned all that stuff out, and he let us know exactly who we were. He established the organization. This was the first foundation of he incorporated it, the religious corporation, July the 20th, 1928.
But he had already been working for some years.
It had already been working even from a de facto standpoint, because he hadn't really incorporated. He incorporated in Cook County in Illinois in 28 as a religious corporation, but prior to that in 27, he incorporated as the Moorish Temple of Science. That was more under a civic venue. But he started organizing the people in that major city back in 1925, and he traveled throughout the country, and that just may be where he contracted the tuberculosis, pneumonia. Why? Because those things were spreaded on the trains and on the boats.
Yep.
All right, and that's how they even went to other countries, spread it by trains and boats.
Yep.
Right.
Just like the planes are doing it now.
That's it. And he traveled through the South, and he went to other countries. He went to Panama.
He went to Morocco too, right?
No, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't go to Morocco. No, he went to Cuba. He went to Havana, Cuba. He went to Cuba. That's where he went when they had a convention over there in Cuba. And he went and he represented the Moors there. He didn't represent Negroes or blacks or colors. He represented us here in America that were under his direct tutelage. And he brought us what we consider to be Islamism. He brought us Islamism. People wanted to have a debate and say, this ain't real Islam. I tell the people, how much do you know about Islamism? Islamism. No, it's not Islam, it's Islamism. He brought something distinct for our people, the same way as did Elijah Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, what they brought for the people back in the 1930s. Once the Prophet Noble Drew Ali passed in 1929, you had this emergence of the Nation of Islam in 1930. And they taught a form of Islam under those teachings when they said they were the Nation of Islam. But yet and still, they still cling to the names of blacks, that black man, the original man, so forth and so on. But we say that's not connected to the human family. We support our brothers, we respect what they represent, but we're saying Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought us nationality, connecting us back with families of nations. We represent the Moorish flag, which is that flag right there, that red flag, 5-pointed green star. Some people want to say it's the Moroccan flag. For this organization here, that's the Moorish flag. And that Moorish flag represents the Grand Pacific principles with that green star in the center of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So if anybody wants to talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I can engage them in that in regards to Islamism. But I'm not going to debate with nobody about Islam and Prophet Muhammad and the Shiites and the Sunnis and some of the other people that different fractions of Islam, because Islam is supposed to be peace. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be unto him. He was bringing about peace to the people. Why? Because people were so chaotic and they was killing